Here we go again. Back at Space Engineers. And I've rebuilt one of my old ships. So I am tearing down the lifter shuttle with the larger ship. I probably should have done this first, so I had all the components, but whatever. We've had a few mishaps along the way. Uh, some broken blocks. Some damaged blocks. So, I'm going to go around and fix up the holes in the deck. um, drop the thruster out of the lifter shuttle as it's dismantling it. Broke some blocks, damaged some blocks. And this one, normally this thing does not have any landing gear on it. This is Shattered Hopes. This is the first large grid ship that I ever, well, the second large grid ship that I ever built. And it is monstrous. All these extra atmospheric thrusters, these guys hanging off the edge, aren't really supposed to be here. This is a spaceship. This is not really for atmosphere. So once we get back up to space, we'll tear all these suckers off. Tons of extra garbage on it, including some extra garbo looking hydrogen tanks to help assist with having enough fuel to lift off. So once we get up into space, we can start tearing this back down to how it should be. But this ship is just cursed. It's spooky. Every time I boot it up, no matter what I do, it's doing something funky. You know, one time the doors don't work. Next time it's just permanently drifting at like 0.02 meters per second. It just, no matter what I do, it does something weird. So, we've got an upper and lower deck. This is the control room here. And you can see the build and repair systems tearing down the lifter shuttle. So we'll have some components in the in Shattered Hopes there. This is the Perseverance edition of Shattered Hopes. This thing has been modified, remodified, redone, overdone many times. So, yeah, this thing's crashed and burned a few times. Hopefully, we won't crash and burn on this one. When I fired it up this time and finally got it situated, put all the atmospheric thrusters on it, lifted off fine, was hovering fine. I turn around and the thing's just drifting and it won't stop. It's just 0.02 meters per second, which is pretty much nothing, but it was drifting. So we have a bunch of buttons on our control panel here for various stuff. We have some control stations with even more buttons. This one's empty. It had all the turrets on it, but I guess I got lost. Lost somewhere down the line. So this is the inventory manager screen, and it's trying to queue up a ton of stuff. We don't want it to do that just yet. So we've turned it off. Let's see, what else did we do? We got a mod to make the cryopod a little prettier. Looks quite nice. This is the small grid model. Just modified to work for large grid ships. We have a boatload of ice. Well, we had a boatload of ice. It's chewing through it quite quickly. Got a bunch of uranium ore and ingots. Filled all our hydrogen tanks with ice. That took a while. So this is a complete all-purpose mobile base. It has a glass deck and some really nice glass windows. A buddy of mine helped me fix them up and make them airtight. Did a nice job. But as you look down through the deck, you can see the inner workings of the beast. It looks quite weird and cramped, but it's actually pretty nice. So we used to have double sliding doors, but we replaced them with these rotary airlocks. You can see the old sliding doors here. And in the back, we've got some more programmable blocks doing programmable block things. And we have modifications to make to bring her back up to spec here. Some of this was temporary to get some piping going to get the ice moving. What was that? Something just went boom. Somewhere. What broke? Well, let's go jump in one of these seats and take a look and see if it was the lifter shuttle. Yep, it was the lifter shuttle just dropping pieces parts. I think I'm going to get out and grind down the two large thrusters that are on it, so those don't make holes in the deck. Come on, get in the door. Alright. Get down here. You can see the build and repairs fixing the deck already. So, I don't want these things dropping off. Yes, inventory full. There's a lot of components in these things. I'd rather the components drop to the ground there, and then the build and repairs will pick them up, than the whole thruster. Alright. We could continue to assist this thing, but I guess we'll just patch the deck. That's a funny looking cube there. Alright, more mishaps, more holes in the deck. That's kind of what it's for, I guess. Hopefully this thing will stop breaking everything. No guarantees. So, this is a triple thruster setup at the moment. Normally it's just ion and hydrogen. You can see we have a very large hydrogen thruster and some large ion thrusters. Let's not break my conveyors, thank you. Jeez. Maybe I should have torn this one apart by hand or go park it off to the side and torn it apart with the grinder ship. I can't really move it now. It's all in pieces parts. Speaking of pieces parts, there's pieces parts. More pieces parts. This thing's just... Oh no, there goes the solar panel. Alright. Nope. We can tear this sucker apart real quick. Sometimes you just gotta get in there and do it yourself. No matter how smart the AI is, often It is just plain old stupid. I'm gonna make sure we tear apart the thrusters for the valuable bits. Yes, yes, inventory full. Hopefully it won't blow anything up while I go drop some of this in the box here. Lots of scrap metal. What can you do? Try to save time and have the machines do it for you. And they end up blowing stuff up. Well, that didn't take long. So the intention of having the large ship break down the old lifter shuttle was to make sure I had components to repair with if I needed to. So this is kind of working and kind of not at the same time. So you can now get a good view of a warp drive here. That's what this big green sucker is, this square. This whole thing is one warp drive. It's quite large, so it's kind of hard to fit into a smaller ship here. I believe we have two different ones in Shattered Hopes. Two different jump drives. So this thing has tons and tons of ion thrusters for maneuverability and extra hydrogen thrusters in just about every direction. You can see the hydrogen thrusters embedded there. It's a much better looking ship once I strip all this extra junk off it. Alright, don't roll off. Don't roll off. That's leaning on something. Okay. Alright. That should be fine. Now we can drop some stuff off somewhere. This'll work. Alright. So, this thing normally doesn't have the landing gear, but in the front here, as opposed to the back has a single large hydrogen thruster. It's one of them words. The front has two large and one medium. So it can stop faster than it can get going, which I consider to be kind of important on these spaceships. Sideways maneuverability is less in other directions. Its downward force is probably the weakest. Only having it's balanced on everything else, but downward force is a little bit less than side to side. And vertical is quite strong with 4 large hydrogen and 4 ion or 6 ion. So we can fight like the moon's gravity pretty easily. And we have connectors all around the ship. We have one in the back here, embedded in this nice little diamond shape. And one all the way in the front. And these connectors are on pistons. So they'll extend out a little bit about to here. No, that's the wrong button. Allowing smaller ships to dock and drop stiff off. And there's also one on the top. This right here is normally a connector. Actually, no, that's normally just a window. This is a piston with a connector on it, so that extends upwards, making it a little safer to dock ships on a glass deck. So let's go inside. We have two doors at the back here. One, two. We have one door on the bottom of the ship, so we can access it from the bottom. This is usually our only hydrogen tank. We have tons and tons of hydrogen generators for extra hydrogen and oxygen storage. Here's one of our jump drives, and here's the other jump drive. And our large reactor right in the middle of the room. Tons and tons of stuff. We have two different projectors. We have one for the space fit and one for the wing, which was an experiment of basically what I have now, just compacted into one large thing with merge blocks to make it one ship. And then I could take the wing off, detach the wing via the merge blocks, and be done with it. It didn't quite work out. Kinda did, but not quite. So we got 4 build and repair systems working, but this is the engineering deck, or whatever you want to call it. The guts of the ship. And then we've got our control room here with various displays. This one is displaying our shields, which is a mod. And this one over here displays speed, stopping distance, acceleration, gravity, and damage blocks. So if anything gets dinged, it shows up here. It's quite nice. A power readout and hydrogen. And just ore and ice. And we're going to try one of our other mods, which is, see if it works, which is sleep till daybreak. Can't sleep, one player. Okay, sleeping. Good morning. Nice. So I don't have to play in the dark if I don't want to anymore. That's pretty cool. So we have these rotary airlock doors in place of the old sliding doors to make it nice and airtight. And we'll take all these tanks and stuff off once we get up into space. Problem is, once we get up into space, we need another ship to come back down. That's always something. Now that I tore the lifter shuttle apart, I'll have to make a small grid ship to take with me. And normally the small ships I can attach right in here to the belly and get rid of the landing gear, obviously, but I kind of need it to hold the ship up and keep it from drifting all over the place right now. So that is a project for another day. We added... Ooh. Oh, you wobbly. You so wobbly. Why are you so wobbly? This is a mod. It's a one piece solar tracking rotor. So you build the one piece and it builds all of this junk. And I guess this camera is looking at the sun. Maybe the speeding up time screwed it all up. I'm not sure. So you add these solar supports and then add a bunch of solar panels. And what is this? Oh, that's oxygen tank. we added a power readout so we can see how much power our turbines and solars are putting out, our battery in and out, etc., etc. And around here, it's probably not the best place to build it, but I was just kind of testing and playing with it, is an oxygen farm. And you can see from like the green lights how efficient they are in this, dark and shadowed area. So they're not really doing much of anything. So probably tear that down, since we really don't need an oxygen farm on an oxygen-rich planet. Yeah, we tore apart another wreck with the grinder ship. It had a lot of heavy combat blocks. So that's a lot of the reinforced blocks to basically increased armor, heavy armor blocks. They just have more durability, more health, but they take a lot more components. So the plan is to get back up into space once I have something to come back down with. I suppose I could always just respawn down here and then respawn back in Shattered Hopes. But everything should be set. We've got a little bit of ammunition for our Gatling guns to help defend against meteors or hopefully chase off pirates if anybody tries to mess with me. So, I guess there's nothing left to do but to do it. So let's get up on in the ship here, because we can always pick up our hydrogen miner and slap it to the bottom. Let's get up on in here and head up on into space. See if we can make it and start fixing this thing back to the way it should be. I just didn't feel like making trip after trip of materials into space. Unknown signal detected. Not right now. Alright, so let's make sure everything's on. Okay. So far, so good. I'm gonna push the button. I'm so scared this thing's just gonna like fall and tip it and just right off the edge here. Alright. So we're hovering. Coming to a step. Alright. So she's actually not drifting all over the place. I'm gonna turn our hydrogen thrusters off for just a moment here. Actually, we'll use them to get up to speed and then we'll turn them off. Alright. Up we go. It is a very pretty cockpit, I think, because it's just all glass. I mean, it's a big glass bubble. Once you get into space and you're sitting in the cockpit and you're looking around, it's quite nice. And doing one of these numbers, you can look over and see one of the other planets over there with the moon. Looks like an Earth-like planet. See the moon way off there in the distance. But yeah, I really love this ship. It has its issues, and with so many modifications over the course of time and various playthroughs or games, there's a lot of little quirks here and there that aren't, things that just aren't quite right that need to be fixed. Like the blocks on the front and the sloping, and I don't know. It's my version of the Millennium Falcon. It's just so many little modifications over time. Turn our dampeners off. We're catching up on speed, but it feels like we're going down, not up. We totally lost all our speed. We're starting to fall. Alright, so the hydrogen thrusters are kicking in. Atmospherics are pretty useless, but I do not have a hotkey for them. They're not supposed to be on this thing. Alright. Up we go. I don't even think we needed all them extra fuel tanks, but we're not out of the woods yet, so maybe I shouldn't say that. We got quite a distance to go. We're only 8 kilometers up, and we need to make it to another 37 at 100 meters per second. This is going to take a little while. I'll see you in a few minutes. We have finally reached 0G. And we are slowing to 0, hopefully. There we go. Dead stop achieved. We didn't even use half the fuel. We probably could have got away with just 2 tanks. Because I just full burned the thrusters all the way up here. I didn't coast them or anything. Oh yeah, moon boots. Is the gravity generator not on? Gravity generator. What's it set to? 80? That's about right. 0.3? Sounds good. Alright. Now if we turn our jetpack on, we gently bounce down. So 0.3 is, if I remember right, about what the moon is. So that should work just fine for nice soft landings. And we're going to go back here and interact with our hydrogen tank. And we're going to set this one to stockpile. And that will pull hydrogen from the other tanks to this one. Because this is the one we're keeping. I'm going to leave it on stockpile. It's 100% full now. And we're going to head on out and start tearing stuff to pieces. We can get rid of quite a bit of stuff. Lots and lots. I can even, if I do it just right, there we go. I can have the build and repair help me. So I have it set so that anything I paint to 000, those are the color sliders, it will start grinding away at. And since I don't really trust it, after watching it tear apart the lifter shuttle, I'll be a little more careful with what I select for it to tear apart. Because the last thing I need is stuff just drifting off into the nothing. I suppose it kind of beats breaking holes in the deck as opposed to just watching it slowly drift away. You just quit on this one? What's going on? Let's go turn on our inventory manager so it shuffles stuff out of the build and repairs as they get full. I think it's this one. No. Yeah, we can access it from this one. There is a lot of interacting with this control panel. Toggle block. You should be running. Why aren't you? There you go. Initializing. Can't check save blueprints restarting. No assembler found? What? Ugh. Recompile. No assembler found. Inventory, control panel. Assembler. Are they all turned off? They're all turned off. There you go. How about now? There is so much of this. Just tweaking just little things that you always have to do. Cute. Can't tell day from night? In space? What? So it seems sleeping through the night is a planet-side function only. Alright. Back to tearing stuff apart. So normally when I take off, I bring tons and tons of raw materials with me. This time I did not. What? That is not what I wanted to grind. Okay. Um, using technology to fix your errors. On. Do you have girders? Maybe not. Oh, it's painted black. No, it's not. It's red. There we go. Yes, inventory full. While you are still hooked up, let's go in here and go to cargo. And we'll just dump this stuff in here. All of it. And while you still have some hydrogen in you, well, fill some of our bottles. Or not. That one might be empty. Yep. Inventory full. Inventory full. I'm so sick of that. Basically, if you want to play on default settings, you need a small ship to grind and tear stuff apart because the player's inventory is so small. And without like the build and repair to pick the stuff up, you're just going to waste so much stuff all over the place. This one still has some in it. So will you fill my hydrogen bottle? No. Okay. Put some more of this junk in there. Continue tearing this garbage off my beautiful deck. Yes, inventory full. Gotta wait a second for the build and repairs to pick stuff up sometimes. And should put a piece of glass over this, or is that just exposed? Is that how that is? I don't remember. Alright. Let's get back to painting stuff so the machines can do it for me. And we will do the simple steel blocks because they don't actually take a ton of inventory. Uh-oh. I don't know what I just painted. Click, click, click. Okay. Those are done. Get these. And I'll do the steel blocks by hand. It's just faster. I don't know what I just painted. Can I get it before the build and repairs get it? Yeah, I can. So if you want to quickly swap colors, you can target something and hold Shift and P to pull that color into your selected color. Let's go ahead and get these large thrusters off my ship. I can't tell if that's red or black, so we'll just paint it anyways. And I have a projector running, so if I do break something by accident, for example, that block, you'll see the projection pop up and the build and repairs should fix it. But it's the wrong color. So we can fix that like so. I said like so. There we go. Since our gravity generator is running, stuff is falling. So I really should be careful as I do that, or it can just fall out of range before it gets picked up. We can cram some stuff in here. Go demo our rest of our silly extension for atmospheric liftoff. Turn on our headlights here so we can see a little bit. Space is simultaneously perfectly clean, lighting, and wishy-washy darkness. Like I can barely see the side of the ship. But if you get it from the sun angle, you can see it amazingly well. It's coming back together here. We're getting there. A bit more fixing and modding and added some armor pieces back to make it look half decent. That one's not default. Is this one? Yep. So it looks like I need to fix up this side with some slanted armor pieces to give it that slightly better look. Get the rest of this junk off the deck. Yeah, there you go. I thought, yes, energy low. I thought I painted these black. Let's go ahead and swap back. There is a faster way, I just didn't feel like doing it. I believe it's the bracket keys to swap colors. You can see, yeah, bracket keys. So we can paint some of this. If it's the right black, there's two blacks in the list. No, not the right black. Yep, not the right black. There, we've detached that section. So it should grind the rest of those blocks. And we do the same thing here. Are you detached? No. Fine. Let's do it by hand. There. A nice view of the ship now. And we're almost out of power. If we run out of power, we'll start to quickly take damage. So let's go charge back up. Since we're done sawing away at, well, we're almost done sawing away at our ship. I thought I had a survival kit in here. No. Have a med bay. Now that we are done with our hydrogen tanks, we need to go back into the menu here and go to tank and turn our hydrogen tank off stockpile so it will feed the thrusters. And we also need to go to our hydrogen and oxygen generators and turn them all back on. Since I was going to tear the tanks off anyways, I didn't want them refilling it as I was taking off, wasting resources. So, yeah, while we're in the cockpit here, we can show off our Extend-O-Matic docking arms. Maybe we have to turn our Extend-O-Matic docking arms back on. Pistons. On. There they go. Got 2 on the bottom, 1 in the back, and 1 at the top. It just moves the small ships slightly farther away. We'll leave them out while we go saw off the landing gear. But it keeps the main ship and the small ship much safer. Why is that still? So rebuild all these to, okay. Modifications. It's obviously an old blueprint. Alright. Let's get rid of this stuff. And we can take a look at the, oh my god. Yes, inventory, I know you're full. Shut up. Goodbye. Goodbye. There goes all our little pieces parts. I grab one of them. So these are pistons. They're super dangerous to use in multiplayer due to the weird physics interactions that they can have. There's the rear. And apparently I've modified the rear so it's all weird and shiny. The top. The glass deck. So now we have to go retrieve our little miner and restock a bit. But I think we're going to leave it here after I turn off the projector and pull the arms in. Alright. Pull the pistons in. You can see them retracting there. It's quite nice. So yeah, we are now in space. We have a mobile base. And if I want to travel back down to the planet, I can put all my stuff away and then respawn down at the planet. So, if you watch this and all of this, get to see my cool ship. Go in a first person and look around. Roll it over into the darkness. Maybe we'll go check out the moon. Build a rover and drive around or something. I haven't decided what to do next. Lots and lots of options. RCO military escort, huh? I don't know what that is. But it's not red, so should be friendly. But if you watch this and all of this, thank you for watching.